Watch me confuse everyone with this joint right here. The guns in Call of Duty do not matter. That's right, I said it and I'll say it again. The guns we use in Call of Duty are fucking irrelevant. Yes, I know this is a first-person shooter. You need to shoot people with something. I mean, otherwise we just end up throwing rocks at each other or fucking tickling each other's asshole and singing Kumbaya or some shit. Anyways, the gameplay you're watching comes from Hatred, who will be camping his ass off. Now you'll notice he has a balance between camping the objective for kills and playing the objective to win, and I believe he's using the ever-popular AN-94, which I'm going to prove is completely irrelevant. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to military shooters, the specific brand of gun does not matter. It has never mattered, it never will matter what specific gun we use, and let me show you examples of this. Do you care whether the game uses an M4 or an MP5 or a P90? Does it matter if a developer decides to use the FAL over the M14 as the single-shot rifle or vice versa? Does it matter if a developer decides to use any one of the Remington bolt-action sniper rifles, whether it's the Model 700, MSR, modular sniper rifle, or the XM 2010? Would you be sad if the game didn't include at least one Kalashnikov LMG, you know, like the RPD or RPK? Reality is, when we play this game, we don't care what the specific guns are. Now, don't get me wrong, we all have favorites. The 50 cal sniper is always going to be a fan favorite. The AK-47 is always a fan favorite, as well as like the Scar assault rifles, carbines, M4 in particular. But whatever, man. The fact is, people's opinions towards certain guns are always related to how well the gun performs in the game. Like when the MP5 wasn't in Modern Warfare 2, people went apeshit. But when the UMP was there, oh yeah, nobody complained about that shit. Or when semi-automatic sniper rifles are changed out each year, whether it's the Dragunov, whether it's the WA-2000, PSG-1, M110, it doesn't fucking matter. People eventually get over their initial butthurt if a certain gun isn't in the game. Now, obviously, the two exceptions are probably the 50 cal and the AK-47. That's just for nostalgia purposes and shit like that. You know what I'm talking about? So when it comes to what guns should and shouldn't be in the game, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the Scar is in the game or not. It doesn't matter if an M4, an AK-47U, Beretta, MK-46, M60. I can sit here all day long and list a whole bunch of guns, and not a single fuck would be given if it's in or out of the game, as long as there's a gun type that someone is comfortable using. Unlike an alien shooter or futuristic shooter, current Call of Duty games, with the exception of Black Ops 2, obviously, because that was fucking future warfare, whatever the fuck, current Call of Duty games are based off of real-life weapons. I don't have a fucking spike shooter like Resistance Fallen Man. I don't have an energy beam like this is fucking Halo or gravity gun like Half-Life in this motherfucker. Call of Duty has to deal with the parameters of real-life guns. You just can't make this shit up. You can't have guns that shoot buzzsaws at people or electromagnetic fields or whatever the fuck you want to do. What matters is how each gun type performs and whether or not it's balanced. One of the issues of any military shooter is how to make the gun classifications feel different but balanced. How to make each gun type in the game feel unique. I mean, just look at Call of Duty for a second. We have 5 main primary weapon classes that we've identified, and then there's some secondary weapons like the pistol, semi-automatic pistol, and launchers and shit like that. But let's just start with the primary weapons first. We have assault rifles, SMGs or submachine guns, LMGs or light machine guns, shotguns, and sniper rifles. And notice, after that fucking debacle over shotguns being a secondary weapon in Modern Warfare 2, that shit was reverted back with the quickness. Oh man, that fucking game, I ain't gonna get into it, man. Anyway, each group has a personality trait of their own. Each group has advantages and disadvantages to make the game balanced. The developers at least make attempts at having all the guns stay consistent with those traits. Shotguns and SMGs are close quarter guns. They lose their advantage at longer distances. LMGs are heavier with tons of bullets, and while they can be used for short distances, their advantage is actually usually the medium to long range shot. Their bullets do the same damage regardless of distance, unlike an SMG or a shotgun. Sniper rifles are obviously the long distance killer of the group, and in the video down the road, I'm going to do a video on quick scoping because I know plenty of people want to talk about that shit. Oh man, there's going to be some tears in the comment section when I talk about that shit. And then finally, we have assault rifles that should do a little bit of everything, but they don't excel at anything. They're good up closer distance, they're better at medium range, but they're not superior to the specialty weapons. The problem any game has is how do you make the guns feel unique and keep them as equals? How do you ensure that one gun doesn't reign supreme over